Hello everybody, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to my channel. My name is Syeda Khairunnisa and this video is going to be about how you can work on your self-esteem and your self-confidence. Why? Simply because life otherwise is miserable. And I'm sure the people who have low self-esteem would relate to this. If you have low self-esteem, and if you've come to this video, I know that you want to improve your self-esteem. I know that you want to do some work into it. So inshallah, I will try my level best with this video to help you with that. Watch till the end because I'm sure that this video will help you. First of all, let's elaborate this a little bit. See, everybody's story is different. Being somebody with low self-esteem, or somebody who hasn't just figured themselves out yet, or somebody who doesn't view themselves in the respectful way. I was that person who didn't view herself in a respectful manner. In fact, since a very young age, I was this really shy, quiet girl that it was fine until being shy and quiet. But as well, I had very low self-esteem. I used to live in a lot of fear, and I did not know otherwise. And mind you guys, my parents have been always very supportive. Today, the strength and the courage they have, 80% of it, both of them were the zaria for me developing. So yes, nobody's perfect, but as far as their parenthood is concerned, they were amazing. Alhamdulillah for that. However, I do understand and acknowledge at the same time that a lot of people can have parents that were abusive and that were very violent and that were very harsh and rough in their ways of making you a disciplined child or making you come to a straight track, and that can really affect your self-esteem. A lot of people talk about on the internet how people and kids with really strict parents end up developing low self-esteem very much after. But I don't think that it is emphasized enough how there is a solution to those people with low self-esteem. Until you're actually gone, until you're actually not there in the world anymore, there is hope. I've been this person who reached rock bottom. I can't even keep a track. I can't even count. But alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, having been sensitive, having been a girl who has seen so much in her life, I have developed, alhamdulillah, a great level of emotional intelligence. It's not self-appraisal. I'm just talking about the blessings of Allah, which we have to acknowledge, right? The other day, I was speaking to my counselor about how I am sensitive, and I don't quite like that a lot of times. I don't think that it works in my favor a lot of times. And she told me that the way you view your sensitivity, it isn't in a healthy way that you view it. Because listen, you were this way since you were born. And that is exactly why I was shy and quiet and always fearful. I saw much of the sensitive side's negative effect when I was way younger, because now alhamdulillah I have developed good emotional intelligence, experience, and have had to teach myself a lot of things in order to develop the self-esteem that I have today. Reminding myself of the ayahs of the Quran and also how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves me helps me stay so confident. So my counselor was telling me that, hey, you know what, the way you view your sensitivity, you're not viewing it in a healthy way. It's not completely bad. And she shared an example to elaborate on that. She was like, imagine if you're having a group conversation, you're in a group of 10, 12 people, and there is a person who was talking, and then they get interrupted by somebody. What are you gonna do? And without even knowing where she was trying to go with that or what she wanted me to say, my instinctive answer was that, yeah, I'm gonna wait for the person who cut them to finish, and then I'm going to ask them to continue what they were talking. And she told me that, you see, this is not what an insensitive person would even notice. So don't look down upon your sensitivity so much. For the longest time, I used to view my sensitive nature as something that was defective about me, that I wasn't really proud of, because I would see all these people around me that didn't care a lot, that didn't feel a lot. And I was like, oh, it would have been so amazing if I wouldn't have felt a lot either. I want to manage it. But I don't want to take that out of me. That's a part of who I am. That is a part of Syeda Khairunnisa. She is sensitive, right? And it took me very long to actually accept that. But alhamdulillah, over the time, with the different experiences I've had and what all I've learned from them, I have developed this attitude. However, though, when I talk about caring, it's about the people that love me. It's about the people that matter to me. It's about their words, their actions. Sometimes you even have to stop caring about what your loved ones think. But when it comes to the people, now I just don't care about the people that are hateful in general. I had to teach myself, it's never about me, it's about them. It's all about them. Like if somebody hates on you for no reason, if somebody bullies you for no reason, it's never about you. I want people to know this right now. If you are bullied and you know there is no fault of yours, somebody tries to mock you, if they try to get your attention, there is nothing wrong with you. Everything is wrong with them. Trust me on that. If you've not done anything, even in my younger years, I wouldn't understand that. If anybody would walk all over me, or if they would get physical with me, I would think that that is my problem. I thought that I am some inferior alien creature who deserves this, because, well, I did not know otherwise. I hadn't developed a self-esteem. I hadn't developed my self-worth yet. But now, alhamdulillah, like, if somebody tries to get even close to that, they're gonna know that it's not gonna work ever. It's never gonna work. Now I know, alhamdulillah, that anything that is disrespectful will be confronted right then and there. And I had to teach myself all of this. So I'm here to teach you this, because the last thing I want for people is to look down upon themselves, because I had that low self-esteem and my life was simply miserable having that low self-esteem. I got nothing good out of it. The only thing that came out of it that was good was that phase ending. And me being the way I am today, alhamdulillah. Blaming yourself for somebody else's actions, for somebody else's sins and mistakes, for just feeling bad about being human, just wanting to be perfect, is not the way you live. Just always wanting to create an impression on others and not caring about how you feel, putting others' happiness first and never drawing the correct boundaries and never putting yourself first isn't healthy. It is a sign of low self-esteem. And we have got to work on that, because life otherwise, my friend, is miserable. Who wants to live a life like that? I know right now that the people who have that low self-esteem, they want to live a better life. They want to be able to say no. They want to be able to draw boundaries. And it doesn't just happen like this. It takes time. It takes a mindset to be developed. I want you guys to understand this simple, basic thing, okay, about life. Ever since I started focusing on my self-growth, ever since I started focusing on my confidence, my self-esteem, the development of my self-esteem, there have been a lot of people who have called me self-centered, arrogant, egoistic, whatnot. A lot of them. And you see, that's what happens. Before that, it was all fine. You know, people were okay disrespecting me. They were okay walking all over me, insulting me in the name of humor. And finally, when I would say that I do not like what you said, I don't appreciate it, or if I would give it back in some or the other way, I was the mean, arrogant girl now, all of a sudden. And you see, you should be kind to the people. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that you should treat the people with respect who treat you with disrespect. So I want you all to always remember that. Because you don't have to stoop down to somebody's level. You need to understand that if somebody comes up to you and they're yelling at you at the top of their lungs, in a way their body language is as though they're going to hit you, even then you need to realize, you need to protect yourself firstly, very important, but realize that it has nothing to do with you in most of the cases. If you haven't done anything wrong, it has nothing to do with you. Narcissistic people, what they think is that if a person who finally learns how to draw boundaries, they are self-centered. Because for these narcissistic people, there is only two types of people in the dictionary. First category is the people that they can walk all over, they can use, they can be mean to in the name of humor, they can put them down, they can do all of those things to them, and they're like, oh, but they're my friend. So now they're your friend because they've taken so much from you, huh? And then the second category of people for them are the egoistic, arrogant people. And most of them are arrogant because they learned how to draw the boundary. They drew the boundary that the first category wasn't able to with you. I used to hear it all, and of course I'm a human. There have been times that this has got to me, but I've developed this mentality, and I tell this to myself every day pretty much, and I had to include this in the video, that you see life as a test. And people don't take that seriously enough. Imagine if you're given an exam, okay, a 3-hour exam, imagine yourself being in an exam hall, a very important exam, the most important exam of your life. NEET aspirants, UPSC aspirants, JEE aspirants, you guys might know what I'm talking about. Like, if there's a very important exam that you're giving in, imagine these are the two situations, okay? In the first scenario, if you are focusing on your paper, you've prepared well, you're focusing all your time, attention, and dedication into that paper, and you're writing it all well. You've decided what to do, you've decided strategies and tricks as to how to write that paper well, and how to just not make mistakes, and how to still correct. Throughout the 3 hours, you are focused on your own paper, writing the exam well. There is no way you will fail the exam. Well, you'll perform really well, and it will turn out that the results are as good or better than your preparations. And now let's move to the other end of the spectrum and think about a scenario where you are giving the same exam, okay, but now it's a complete different you. You're not focusing. You're peeping into other people's paper. You're telling other people what to do, what not to do. You're judging them for writing so and so answer. If you're constantly throughout those 3 hours, if you keep judging other people and you don't even focus on your own paper, what do you think the results are going to be? They're going to be as negative as you were the entire time, and more perhaps. That example I apply to our lives. If I am focusing on my life, because this life is a test. Allah has given the soul in my body for it to be tested. Allah has given this nafs in my body for it to be tested. There is no way that I am given my own life, and I have my own tests, and I have my own azmaish, that I'm going to look at other people without actually looking on myself and focusing on myself, and I'm going to then try to judge and tell other people how to live their life. If I'm asking somebody to pray 2 rakat, I have to make it a point that I at least offer 4 rakat a day. A lot of us, we don't check our actions. This is the thing, even in the exam paper. If you're telling somebody how to write the answer, you haven't even written the answer, most probably because you were busy with their answer. But that's not how life is supposed to work. You are supposed to focus on your actions, especially when it comes to your self-improvement, your mindset. You are supposed to focus on your improvement. Before telling others how to live their life, you need to make sure that at least you're living your life well. And we don't realize how just focusing our attention on anything else and everything else and not focusing on our journey is not nice at all. If you're not self-centered, if you don't look out for yourself and after yourself, if you don't watch your actions, whose action are you going to then watch? Even to be the person who corrects other people, you need to be a self-accountable person. You need to be a person who focuses on yourself enough. There's a fine line between being self-obsessed and not caring about other people and being a person who focuses a little too much on themselves. For example, if I don't like somebody, or if I find myself giving a little too much attention to somebody, what they're doing and everything, I just don't have them on my socials anymore. To me, friendships and connections and acquaintances are synonymous with peace. Yes, I do cut off the people that bother me and trouble me, and that is what troubles people a lot. Well, yes, I care about myself before them. You know what being self-centered and focused on yourself does? Takes you away from entitlement and ego. Takes you away from pride, because you're watching out your actions more than other people. If you're working on your self-improvement every single day, there is no way that you won't develop a good, solid self-esteem. I would tell anybody who's being told that you're self-centered, my friend, if anything, that is the way to go. Distancing yourself and not giving out of your inner pieces and not compromising your mental peace for other satisfaction is not bad. It is a good thing. There are going to be people who are going to tell you, hey, you're too arrogant, you're too egoistic. But they've not walked a mile in your shoe. And the wizard list said that if you haven't walked a mile in my shoes, do not tell me how to tie my shoelaces. You're doing something good if people are talking bad about you. Because ain't no way that I am out there speaking the truth, being true to myself and being true to God, and there won't be other people talking about me. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had people who talk about him bad, had people who would put accusations on him, wrong ones, and the people who would question his intentions. Tell me, who had better intentions than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Nobody. And still people spoke about him. What makes you think you are the exception? We're not even equal to the dust of his foot. As a matter of fact, we're all sinners. He cried for us because he knew we were going to be the generation of sinners. Fitna would be so much for us. He knew that, right? If you're going to care about what people are going to think, there's no way you can succeed. There's no way you can go after your dreams, or there's no way you can be yourself. Be self-centered, focus on yourself. It's okay if people call you names. In my opinion, it's better than being told somebody who doesn't take a stand for herself, who isn't true to themselves, or who is a people pleaser. How do you start focusing on yourself? How do you develop that self-confidence? Well, simply by switching the attention span or the focus that you're devoting to other people and other things and whatever. I'm going to take the example of social media scrolling or us obsessing over other people. You need to devote that attention to yourself. It's okay to appreciate people. It's okay to take inspiration from other people. It is okay to do all of that. But it's not okay beyond a point just obsess over their lives while you don't even know what the hell you're doing with your own life, because you're so engrossed in like other people's lives and in an unhealthy manner. Imagine if you're watching somebody day and night on social media, you're watching them, you're obsessing over them. What are you getting out of it? Nothing. You can never be like them, first thing, because personalities, like, it doesn't work that way. You can't see somebody day and night and become completely like them. Well, yes, you could have acquired traits of them, but if you're watching somebody because you love the way they are and everything, you want to become like them, it doesn't work that way. You have to embrace who you are. You have to find out who you are. Focus that attention that you give to other people on yourself. Could be as small as when you are in a group interaction, stop focusing on other people's body language a lot. I mean, seriously, start focusing on your reaction. Start focusing on your reaction to stimuli, your trigger. You can find out so much about yourself just by putting yourself out in public, or just by even being with a friend or a family member or someone close, and you start noticing how you are behaving with them more than how they are behaving with you. Because trust me, how they behave with you has little to nothing to do with you. It's not your work to do. If they are not nice towards you, their body language is not turned towards you, that is not what you are supposed to teach them to do. That has nothing to do with you. You cannot control the way they behave. It is all about them. It's their inner reflection. It has nothing to do with you, and you cannot go around fixing them. So do not try to even focus on other people. The less you start taking things personally, the more you will succeed, and the more you will start focusing on yourself, and the better self-esteem you will develop. If you're in a conversation, start looking at how you react. Find out if you have any triggers. Find out what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your deal breakers, what you cannot tolerate, what you can. And that way you will get to know yourself. You have been given with a body of your own. All of us have so much in this body. Our bodies are so complex and yet so different. The way we feel is so different from each other. Of course, basic emotions we all do feel, but it's so different for each and every one of us. Imagine having the desperation or the curiosity to want to discover other people and not wanting to discover your own emotions that have been embedded in you. That's misery. I'm sorry. You need to focus on yourself. That's not good. You need to switch the attention on yourself and see how you are. What works for you? If somebody says something, how are you reacting? If you get to know how you're reacting, that is only when you'll be able to do something about it. How many of us can confidently say that I completely know myself? Or I know myself to an extent, and I think I'm sorted in the head about what are my strengths, weaknesses, what goes well and what doesn't go well for me, what kind of a person I am, my likes, my dislikes. How many of us can say that I know that about myself to a great extent? We don't know, right? Because we're so busy looking at other people. That is what I'm saying. Focus your attention to yourself. You see, you can never be confident about something that you don't know well enough about. It's not just about your personality, it's just about everything in general. If you have a meeting, say, for example, and you're supposed to have knowledge about the worldly affairs, right? Or politics, and you're going to that meeting, and you think that you don't know enough about it, and you're trying to equip yourself with so much knowledge. You're trying to learn about it, and you've got somewhere, but you're still not confident. And it could be a 15 minutes of your performance or speaking, or 30 minutes. That's it. More, an hour, 2 hours. Now imagine not knowing yourself and living your life. Get to know yourself completely. Get to know your triggers, your strengths, your weaknesses, and accept them, my friends. And when I'm telling you, accept yourself, accept your mistakes, accept your flaws, accept your triggers. There might be a toxic trait in you. There might be a toxic trait in me. I need to accept it in order to improve. The only way I can improve is by acceptance. You see, the acceptance is the first step towards improvement. If you want to improve in any aspect of life, you have to accept yourself. You have to accept your situation. Once you accept it and you realize that it's not that great of a trait to have, or this is something I need to work on, there's no other way but working on it. You'll figure a way out. You know what is the easiest? To find a way to work something out, because there's so many solutions in the world, alhamdulillah. And in order to know the solution, you need to know the problem. You need to know the root cause. I would suggest counseling to everybody who wants to get to know themselves. Trust me. Because a lot of times the result of low self-esteem is childhood trauma, or it is some trauma that may have occurred to you, or some incidents that may have occurred to you, or some words that may have been told to you that didn't sit well with you, or that sit in your mind for the rest of the time that you've lived. and you weren't able to get over it, and you need to get it out somewhere, and you've never been able to get it out. I would recommend for those people counseling. Get to know yourself, and then you can start self-improvement. For me, like, I realized that maybe my temper is something that I can work on and that I need to work on. And I started working on it. But before that, I had to acknowledge it. It's very important to acknowledge the problems. Secondly, when you're out in the public, I feel like in order to be confident, you need to a lot of times fake it. Now, let me make one thing very clear. When we talk about haya, like this is a common trait in a lot of practicing Muslims, we have haya, and we do not get engaged in free mixing of both genders. We avoid that, right? When I talk about confidence, I feel like it's important if you work, and there are a lot of people who work. There are a lot of people who are content creators. There are a lot of people who do some or the other job that requires them to be social to an extent, and that requires them to know things and to be able to know how to put things into words or how to put things into actions, which again requires you knowing yourself enough for you to actually go out, accept yourself enough to then have the guts to be yourself in front of anybody. That's how you should be. Even in my college, if I find time, I meet up with new people, I interact with them. So much knowledge gained, so much knowledge exchanged, so much generally positive energy exchanged. What we also do is that we choose to stay in that bubble. We choose to be miserable a lot of times, and we choose to contain ourselves into boxes. I'm not telling put yourself in miserable situations, never. Distance yourself as and when it is required, but also do not let the negative people, negative interactions, negative encounters limit you. Do not lose hope in the goodness in the humankind till you are alive. I'm not saying chase it. Chase Allah and chase pleasing Allah, not people, not pleasing of people. But again, for that confidence, social gatherings are encouraged in our religion. We're supposed to meet up with our loved ones. We're supposed to meet up with our people. There should be healthy gathering. There should be halal gatherings. You know what I mean. And get to know yourself and meet up with the people that have the same energy as you, and you'll discover friends for life, amazing friends for life, right? Trust me, my friends, you really will reach places if you get a good self-esteem, if you get to know yourself. We lag behind where we don't accept ourselves. Here's the thing, right? When you keep telling your brain something, it adapts to that. That's why I also say that, make sure that you surround yourself with the right people and not the people who tear your confidence, who try to tear you down. Because words have so much power. Whatever you allow yourself to listen, like the other day, somebody was talking to me about how a few people hate me, they find me annoying, they don't like me, this and that. And I was like, hold up, don't say that to me. It's all about them. It's their reflection of themselves. It has nothing to do with me. It's how they feel about me. It has nothing to do with me. Yeah, it's their obsession. It's not mine. It's not my solution. I cannot heal them. I cannot. I can't work on their personalities. When I was, younger, I always thought that anybody who would point any flaws of me, I wanted to get engaged in arguments with them and prove them wrong. But now it's the complete opposite. I've realized very well that you cannot fix other people. You cannot do it for them. If Allah knows it, that's it, period. Nobody else has to know who you are. I'm going to go to people and tell them that I'm not annoying because they thought I'm annoying. How underconfident is that of me? Who am I trying to prove it to? People that don't matter to me? Right? And I told that person, don't tell me what they're telling about me. I don't want to know. Why would I want to know? What is it going to do to me? Probably laughed a little bit, thinking that, oh wow, people talk about me. Because really, like, sometimes when you get that attention, especially when you become confident, you're going to have a lot of people either hate you a lot or appreciate you a lot. And ever since I started working on my self-esteem, I've seen that a lot. Two extreme sort of reactions, always. And that's okay. Maybe if you have this tendency to physically harm other people and you end up discovering that, right? And you were ashamed of that. And now you've discovered that, and you could search up somebody who's done a lot of physical violence in their life, and you could look at their videos, and they speak about it in a way that is so relatable and consoling, yet not in a way that they're glorifying that, right? Like for me, like I watch a lot of videos of people who speak about trauma so much, and how they have their traumas as well, and how they're managing their traumas. And that is so healing towards me, because I'm like, it doesn't feel good to know. It's but obvious that it doesn't feel good to know that people have traumas. But I feel like I'm not the only one, and they've gone through it too, and we're all in this together, and inshallah we will make it out healthy, better mentally, right? So once you become confident, trust me, people are gonna always like try to put out the flaws in you, but you need to decide for yourself. Are you going to be that people-pleasing friend who goes to sleep embarrassed at yourself that you weren't even able to stand up and say no, or you weren't able to switch your places even? Like, instead of being embarrassed at yourself for taking that disrespect, because I know if you're watching this, if you're hurt too, you do not deserve what you've got. Do not let them walk all over you again. Nobody deserves it. Who are they? How perfect of people are they? You know, Allah is the just of all judges. He know you internally, and He is the only one who will judge and who can judge. That's it. Leave it all to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? As well, like, tell yourself, there is nothing that is embarrassing. It's okay if I've done this. Forgive yourself. People don't forgive themselves. Why? If Allah has forgiven you, if you've repented, why can't you forgive yourself as well? Remember, Shaitan is the one who wants you to be ashamed of yourself. Guilt is a good feeling in heart, but shame, that hatred that you have for yourself, every time you overthink yourself, that's Shaitan. Literally. And the people who are trying to do that, Shaitan has got into them. That's it. Be easy and kind to yourself. Look at yourself as another human being sometimes. Just do that. Again, I admire this woman a lot. The Wizard Liz in one of her videos said that, imagine if you were paid to get into somebody's body, like $1 billion, to get into somebody's body and fix issues for them. Would you do it? And of course you would. Why wouldn't you? We find it so easy to be there for other people, like for me. We find it so easy to be there for other people. Why is it not for yourself? The person that you've lived with for as long as you remember before anybody else. You're trying to fix the people that you met like months ago or maybe a few years back. You're not even fixing yourself. For me as well, very loving towards people in general. And I'm very giving. Well, I had to make myself understand that no, I can't do that. If I would make a mistake, for example, if I don't wish somebody, like a lecturer, like a teacher, good morning, okay? And if I were called out for that, I would be like, oh my God, I didn't do that. I'm not an ethical girl anymore. I'm not nice. I'm not respectful. I would be so harsh on myself, right? And then I would see the same thing happen to another person, another girl forgetting to greet the teacher and their teacher calling them out. I wouldn't even care. I would be, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Why is it being made that big? Unless and until you're purposely not doing it continuously, maybe you need to see it. But if you've forgotten it, I used to see other people as, oh, like, you know, she's good. It's not that bad. Why am I being so harsh on myself? Love yourself, put yourself first. Trust me. Tables will turn. You made this mistake, it's okay. Even right now, while I'm working on my self-esteem, anything happens to me that I make to feel like, oh my God, this is such a big deal. I'm like, hold up. But initially, that wasn't the case. Now, I subconsciously sometimes do act up. But now, I'm like, hold on. We're feeling all this, we're harsh on ourselves. But let me just tell you one thing. Is it that bad of a thing? The other day, I went for an interview. It didn't go that well. I was nervous. It wasn't very usual of me, but I was nervous. And I was okay. And I was being so harsh on myself immediately after the interview happened. I was like, Mama, I got so nervous. I didn't do well. I didn't give my best inputs, this and that. But I remember a girl before that went for the interview as well and told me the same thing about herself. And I was like, it's okay. You deserve better. You're going to get a few things better. You realize how toxic is that? How toxic am I being to myself when I'm saying it's okay to other people, but I'm not saying it's okay for myself. So be easy on yourself for making mistakes. Forgive yourself. If Allah has forgiven you, you don't have to care about any other person. And last thing you should care about is what people think of you, especially the people that haven't even seen you as much as your maybe loved ones. Alright guys, on that note, I hope this video helps you guys. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, because I promise you guys that I will put out amazing content as such, inshallah, in the future as well. And show some support if you like this video. That would be really encouraging, because I have another channel as well where I do daily vlogging, and whenever we get a good comment, it feels so beautiful and amazing. It's so encouraging. So yeah, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And this is a topic that is so close to my heart, and the whole time I was just being so true to myself. So I really do have high hopes from this video, inshallah. See you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, be easy on yourself, forgive yourself, be there for yourself, and subscribe and come back again, inshallah. Until next time, Allah Hafiz.